Oh, for Christ's sake, open up, you bloody thing. Maybe we would be better off in a porter cabin.
Good morning, Adrian.
What's so bloody good about it? This sodding door won't open again. Maybe the council's right. This place is economically unviable. We would be better off in a bloody porter cabin.
Yes, I heard you telling the door. Would you like me to have a go?
Oh, you could try, but I think it needs a locksmith. I've been trying for about a quarter of an hour.
Adrian, you've been trying for about 30 seconds. I saw you when I was walking from the bus stop.
I thought there was something missing.
Only a fool would ride a bike in this weather.
Ah, you can say that again. Martin, what the bloody hell have you got there?
It's Margaret. She needs a car for a doctor's appointment, and she was worried that riding her bike would upset her condition. Chafing, you know. Why aren't we open yet?
It's this bloody door, Martin. We need a locksmith.
Oh, give it here. Right, shall I put the kettle on?
I've got hobnobs.
Did you know that Hob is the name for a male ferret?
That begs the question what they make hobnobs from.
So what do you think about what was said last night?
My dad told me that they used to have competitions to see how many ferrets they could stick down their trousers. Ferret legging, they called it.
Isn't a martin a type of ferret?
Well, he's not going down my trouser leg.
Well, he wouldn't fit in those leggings.
About last night, I think it could be a blessing in disguise, a nice new office.
You heard her. It's a cost-cutting exercise. They're thinking outside the box. We won't get a nice new office. We'll be lucky if we get to work inside a bloody box.
30 seconds to go. Sup up your tea and finish your hobnobs and get ready for the rush.
I don't fancy my biscuits now I know that they're made from weasel dicks.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
$10 10 bloody clock, and what's happened since we opened? I'll tell you what's happened. It started with half an hour of bugger all, punctuated by a visit to the toilet, only to be followed by 30 more minutes of bugger all. If I'd known it was going to be this boring, I wouldn't have had my 7.
To be fair, Gail told us a very amusing story about her cat and the toaster.
Huh?
I think you were in the toilet.
I'm going to the bank.
Don't peak too early, Martin. Give yourself something to do this afternoon.
That's okay, Adrian. I thought of that. I didn't have my 7:30 this morning.
Was that Martin making a joke?
Must have been. You know what his bowels can be like. He can't wait 5 minutes, let alone 5 hours.
He's got a sensitive stomach, that's all.
Another cup of tea?
Why not? Are there any hobnobs left?
So, what's the time now?
Oh, about 10 minutes later than when you last asked.
What was the time then?
About 10:20.
So, it must be...
Martin!
No, wait. It's Mills on wheels. He's at the top of the hill.
I do wish you wouldn't call him that. It's so disrespectful. It's not his fault he's in a wheelchair.
Well, it sort of is. No one forced him to ride that penny farthing.
Down the steepest hill in town.
Blindfolded.
And naked.
We've all done stupid things while drunk.
Yeah, I suppose. Martin, are those Swarovski EL10 by 42 binoculars hanging provocatively around your neck? I didn't know that you were a twitcher.
£5 says you'll buy 10-second class.
You're on. I say a fiver on 21st.
10 of each.
Is Sidecar with him?
Who?
Sidecar, his wife, Mrs. Mills.
Why do you call her sidecar?
You know Mrs. Mills. She was a pianist in the 50s and 60s.
Mrs. Mills didn't play sidecar. It was Conway Twitty.
You're a Conway Twitty.
I've just looked it up. Conway Twitty was a country and western singer. You must be thinking of Russ Conway. And anyway, Russ was playing side saddle, not sidecar.
Well, what are we going to call her now? We can't call her Russ Conway. That doesn't make sense.
Why don't we just call her sides... Bugger! They've just turned down the high street.
What time is it?
11:22.
Is anyone else hungry? Shall I do a sandwich run?
For Christ's sake, Adrian, it's not even 11:30 and you're talking about lunch.
Well, it's not as if we're snowed under.
That's not the point. Lunch gets earlier and earlier around here.
Yes, I'm a bit hungry. Can you get me a BLT, a prawn and mayonnaise, a grab bag of smoky bacon, a Snickers and a Diet Coke?
Christ, that's a lot of food. Where'd you put it? There's nothing of you.
How did you cope when you were living with your ex? He was a vegetarian, wasn't he?
Oh, it didn't bother me at all.
Didn't you miss meat?
No, I didn't give it up.
What?
Well, I used to buy pork pies and pasties and stuff and hide them. I'd eat them when he wasn't looking. I had a whole Chinese banquet for 4 people once.
Where did...
I used to hide them in the salad drawer of the fridge, under the lettuce.
Didn't he find them? Him being a veggie and all?
Nah, the fat bastard never touched salads. It was eggs, cheese and pasta mostly.
He always looked a bit ill.
He was probably constipated with all those eggs.
I heard somewhere that you're supposed to eat different coloured food to make sure you get a mixture of vitamins.
His was mostly beige.
Yeah, he was mostly beige.
The funny thing is, I don't like lettuce either. I only bought it to hide the other stuff. Are you getting anything, Martin?
No, I've got mine here.
Oh, what's inside them?
Wafer thin ham. I hate wafer thin ham. It's the work of the devil.
Then why don't you tell Margaret you don't like it and then she'd make you something else?
Margaret doesn't make my sandwiches. I make them myself.
Then why?
That's all that was in the fridge.
Well, if you tell her, then she may buy something else.
Is that deli stuff? Maybe it's what she likes.
No, it's that stuff where they get all the bits that have been on the floor and squeeze them together.
Then why don't you do the shopping?
Margaret says I'm too extravagant.
That's not a word I'd have ever used for you, Martin.
Look, throw them in the bin and let Adrian get you something from the shops.
I can't do that. What would Margaret say?
There, you can't eat them now. It's been in the bin. I'll get you a meal deal, my treat. What do you want in your sandwich?
Oh, that's really kind of you. Could I have a BLT too?
No problem. And a packet of cheese and onion?
Oh, yes, please.
And a full fat Coke?
Lovely. Adrian's taking his time.
He's only been half an hour. He's probably stopped at the gear shop. He's looking for another pair of 4-wheel drive running shoes. He lost the last pair during that 24-hour mud run, remember? Well, he lost the left one and spent the next couple of weeks looking for a one-legged ultra runner.
He did well to find one.
It's a pity he was right-footed.
Well, I bet you'll never guess who I saw in the supermarket.
Meghan Markle?
Camilla Parker Bowles.
Princess Grace of Monaco?
She's dead.
Prince Rainier.
He's dead.
Princess Margaret?
She's also dead, but you are getting closer. Look, I'll give you a clue. They're not dead.
My Margaret?
Ding!
But she's meant to be at the doctor's.
It's definitely your Margaret. She stopped for a chat. She seemed interested in my basket. Can of Coke, BLT, my Marty would love that.
Marty, eh?
She didn't suspect anything, did she?
I think she had a bit of a suspicious look in her eye when she saw the cheese and onion crisps.
Really?
No, not really. None of what I said was true. Except the bit about seeing Margaret. She said she couldn't stop, she was off to see someone.
Her doctor?
Except her doctor isn't in Milden. His surgery is in the village.
Tell you what, shall we open the sarnies?
Yeah, lovely.
So, what do you think Margaret was doing in town then?
I don't know, but I don't think she wanted to see me.
What makes you say that?
Well, normally I wouldn't have been able to get away, but she couldn't get away fast enough.
Did you look in her trolley?
She sort of had it behind her, and I didn't want her to think that I was trying to see what she was buying.
But you were trying to see what she was buying.
Well, that's why I didn't want her to think that I was.
So what did you see?
Well, all I could see was a slab of Belgian beers, you know, the little glass bottles.
I've never seen Martin drinking them. I thought he said all foreign beer tasted like...
You don't think Margaret's playing away, do you?
No. Nah.
Fancy beer, lying about the doctor's, not wanting to let me see inside her trolley. Perhaps it was full of...
Here we are, 3 steaming hot cups of tea. I'm afraid we've run out of hobnobs, so I've opened the rich tea fingers.
It is totally dead, isn't it?
A bit of a lull, that's all. We'll pick up later.
By pick up, do you mean we might get one customer?
I'm not sure if I can remember what to do.
Well, what do you mean?
If somebody comes, I might just panic and find I'm struck dumb.
Why don't we go home?
What?
All of us?
Yeah, we could just lock up the shop and go home.
We'd all be sacked.
What difference would that make? We're all going to be unemployed soon anyway.
Oh, that may not be true. And how would you feel if they got somebody else to replace you?
Who would they get?
Look here, I'm in a supervisory role, so I can't really condone rebellion.
Oh, it's such a lovely day, though. Why don't we go to the beach?
Why not? Nothing's happening here.
I couldn't relax. What if somebody needed a bus timetable?
Oh, I never thought of that. Maybe we could leave a note on the door saying we're on the beach.
I'm sorry, but head office would have a cow if they found out. An absolute cow.
But they'd never know. It could be our secret.
Like a conspiracy of silence.
If you like.
Here comes a customer now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. They've changed their mind.
It really is dead, isn't it?
Well, that was quiet. I don't know if I want another day like that again.
Have we ever had a day when absolutely no one turned up before?
Do you think it's a coincidence?
What do you mean?
Well, we have a town meeting one evening and the next day, well, no one turns up.
So, do you think the mayor is kidnapping people before they get to the high street?
No, but
Are you sure it was Margaret in the supermarket this morning?
it's definitely her, Martin. We had a chat and everything. She asked me if I thought you were putting on weight, and I said, no.
Grass, she knows about the sandwich. She knows that sandwich was for me. Did I thank you, by the way?
Yeah, a few times.
Good, because I am grateful, you know.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
A couple of 100 times. Anyway, Martin, on your bike.
Or Margaret's bike, to be precise.
Haha, see you tomorrow then.
See you tomorrow, Martin.
You don't think she's having an affair, do you?
I don't know. If she is, there are two things I do know. One, she doesn't know a good thing when she's got it. And two, I'll rip her bloody tits off. I'd better go. I've got a bus to catch.
In this episode, Martin was played by Laughton Fox, Gail was played by Sheila Shaw, Richard Embleton played Adrian, original music was composed and performed by Scott Buckley, sound effects were from Freesound, sound editing and production by Richard Embleton. This has been a DruvDrama production. We hope you enjoyed it.